What is up, Who Dat Nation? And thanks for joining us on the Dome Patrol podcast, Dome Patrol United podcast, Saints edition for the first time in a long time since last time. I'm your host, Jeff, and I'll be joined by a combination of UK and US podcasters. We've got Ben, starting from your screen, left to right. Ben, welcome to the show. What's your number?
0. I'm stockpiling in case we go into full lockdown.
Actually, right to
So
left. But
Yeah, right to left.
I got what you mean. I was just going with it.
I've got the mirror image here. All right, and Scott, welcome to the show. What's your number?
Right now I'm a 0, but I'm about to start drinking some stuff in a second. So
All right, what's up with that? All right, and James, welcome to the show. How you feeling? What's your number?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm about a 2. I've had some Budweiser, so I probably need about 40 of them to get anywhere near.
All right, well, there you have it. I would say all the fear and the social distancing that everybody thought was going to postpone the NFL said, no, we're going to go on with free agency and give sports fans something to actually talk about and get excited about. And the NFL now owns all of sports talk because they're the only thing to talk about. Very smart of them to do so. So on the show, we're obviously going to talk first about all the Saints free agency moves, and then maybe we'll talk about a few others that might affect the Saints in the 2020 football season, supposing that it happens. So put your seatbelts on, keep your hands and legs inside your earbuds at all times, and enjoy the show. I was about to say automatically, Jason, welcome to the show. But he's not here. All right. So if you're watching on the live stream, feel free to make a comment. And guys, if you guys happen to see it, feel free to bring it up. And I'm also gonna try and monitor it. But let's jump into Saints signings and goings, and maybe the first one. Let's talk with the big headliner, Drew Brees. Did you expect him to sign a 2-year deal?
I don't know that I'm shocked by it, but
It was always
I don't
going to
know.
happen, wasn't it?
I'm surprised.
Really?
That it wasn't a 1 year.
Yeah. Or is it a 2-year deal for the sake of payment
Probably.
with the option to not play next year? I mean, he could always retire, I guess, but
Yeah, he could retire after this year. Supposedly, word going around was that at the Pro Bowl, he told all his teammates that he was retiring, but kind of went back and thought about it some more and decided to come back. I don't know if that's true, just what I read.
Brittany was like, I need a few more dollars for a
Diamonds.
house.
I need some diamonds, baby.
Some more diamonds. These are tarnished. So, I mean, do you want that? What does that do for your quarterback predictions in the draft this year? Do you still go after quarterback, or is this kind of a, you know what? Let's look at a freshman or a sophomore in college and maybe anticipate drafting somebody in the next 2 years?
It depends whether they're really truthful about what they see Taysom Hill doing, though, isn't it? I guess. I mean, he still obviously hasn't signed. He's the only player that got a first-round tender put against him in the NFL this year. I'd be surprised if anybody takes the bait on that one. I mean, if they do, great. Yeah, I genuinely think that we are going to see more Taysom Hill at quarterback this year.
Okay. More Taysom, splitting time, so to speak. Does this?
I think we need another quarterback, either free agency or draft.
This year now.
Yeah, you need a third on the book.
All right.
You need 3 on the books.
All right.
So you got Drew, you got Taysom. Obviously, we've lost Teddy.
Well, especially if you're going to split time with the two of them, you need a third. Yeah.
So,
and they
I've seen
couldn't
a
get
name
Brady
floating
to back
around.
up Breeze.
I've seen a name floating around of Chase Daniels coming back again.
He just signed. Signed. Yeah, with the Lions.
Oh, is it? Okay, well, that one's gone. I love live podcasting.
Must be following Florio. No.
I know, right? Jesus.
All right. From Facebook, Dave Miet says, "Hail to the donkey train." Jameson Foreman, sup guys? Hey, Jameson, thanks for watching. My question was going to be too, like, okay, if Breeze does play for the next 2 years and Taysom splitting time for 2 more years, does it reduce the chance that Taysom Hill is your starting quarterback after Drew Brees leaves? Or does it increase the chance that Taysom Hill goes and looks, well, I mean, not that he could, but so yeah, that question.
Well, he's a restricted free agent now, so does that mean next year he's an unrestricted free agent? What is he? So he might leave after
Okay.
this year if he's not, depending on what Drew does.
Pull a Teddy.
Yeah, I mean, he could leave, but I don't know that he has the market that he thinks he's going to have. It depends on what he does this year, too.
Right. But there's a sucker born in 32, 31 cities across the United States every day.
Yeah, true.
I mean, if Sean Payton makes him look good, I mean, look at how many people have now signed Jimmy Graham in the hopes that he would be a shell of his former self.
Yeah.
His agent is a genius.
Well, okay, start in New Orleans, and then we'll just shop that around. We'll ride that train for the next 10 years.
He only shows other teams' New Orleans game footage.
Hey, what about
It's like,
what about Seattle?
here's my reel.
Black
Here's
and
my
gold.
reel. It's all black and gold.
Right. All right. Sorry. So now we'll go from like the biggest headline to the smallest yet very impactful signing that I think a lot of people are ignoring, and that is long snapper Zach Wood.
Oh,
I'm
everyone needs a long snapper.
Hey,
Everyone needs a long wood.
Tiger Week. No, I mean, if you think about it, this is the guy who snaps for Thomas Morstead, and he's been doing so reliably and consistency. It's just a nice little small $4 million deal, and they've got the relationship and also that's your kicking game too. Is he snap for the? No, maybe.
Yeah,
For
punts
field
and
goals.
field goals. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, it's good to shore that up, and he's a good blocker as well. So he deserves. We're talking about him all, so he gets mentioned right after Brees.
There.
I mean,
All right.
that's a lot of money for somebody who touches the ball maybe 5 times a game.
And usually they're field goals
Yeah.
because of this offense.
Yeah. But it's definitely an important position.
Light
So.
is out. That's the holder, I guess, right? So, all right, Onyemata gets himself a 4-year deal.
Big Dave's coming back.
Everybody excited about this one? That was the first non-Breeze big one that everybody jumped all over, right?
Yes.
That's a big one.
That was a big one.
That's-
That was a big one.
It-
A friend
and it
just
was
texted
quite-
me who's watching the show and commented about my Longwood comment. So,
Oh.
hey, Matt, how's it going? So I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Matt, you need to comment on the live stream, okay? Keep the shit public and stop texting Scott directly.
this is the one I used to who you bought your house from. That's
Oh, what's up? I'm podcasting from your old house, Matt.
He's probably had sex in that room you're recording right now. Please text us. Let us know.
No, public chats only.
Do it on the public chat.
All right, so Onyemata, 4 years.
Yeah, it's cheap, I think. That's quite a team-friendly deal that he's got when you look at some of the money that the other defensive tackles have got.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a big signing. Loomis works his magic with the cap and whatnot. So definitely a plus. Needed to sign him. It was a big get to keep him.
Well, yeah,
Very big
everybody
get.
thought he was going to be one of those that we were going to lose,
Right.
and the Saints
Yeah.
dispelled
And-
that really quickly.
Yep. And it kind of shored up our D line. I think we'll have all of our starters returning. So
Everybody's
that's-
back.
That's
Yeah.
definitely huge.
Yep.
What do you think it
Spencer?
means for rankings, though?
Prove your health.
Are we going to keep rankings after next year because he's playing this year on the option?
I think
the
it's the
fifth-year
option,
option.
I think it all depends on this year's performance.
Yeah.
Where it lands. I mean,
When he's healthy, he's
and
fantastic.
if he's all right, but if he's not healthy, then he's not going to fetch a deal either. So he might be more inclined to stick with the team anyway. And it's a question of, I mean, we've kept. I mean, what are you going to do with Anzalone? When it's time for him.
Well,
It's
they've
like-
restructured Alonso's deal, haven't they, as well?
Yeah, him and P-Rob.
Michael Thomas was restructured and Armstead was restructured today.
Yeah.
So are we expecting a big move somewhere if we're restructuring?
I think it's more because Breeze and Onyemata took a lot of the money that we had available in the cap, and now you got to make room if you're gonna sign another player. That could maybe they're still gonna go after Chris Harris. Isn't he still on the market?
No, gone.
Gone today.
That's
To the
why I
Chargers.
hate live podcasts.
If you kept up with the chat during the day instead of doing work,
Hey,
Jeff, you would have
yeah,
known
right.
this.
He's gone $10 million, isn't it?
Yeah, to the
Yeah.
Chargers.
And-
Yeah.
Yeah, and Spencer makes a good point on the Facebook. Smart move to retain Onyemata. I mean, that he is a big reason why the Saints defense has been able to hold other teams' rushing games to less than 100 yards.
Mm.
Or even less
And that
than
brings
90
it-
yards a game in the last 2 years.
That brings us into Malcolm Jenkins, what we were talking about before we started recording, why they might have gone for Malcolm Jenkins over Von Bells, because you've got someone like Onyemata who is. I've just seen Ash's comment on the thing. Yes, it is Ash, by the way. You got someone like Malcolm Jenkins who's better at pass than he is the run game, where Von Bell's better at the run game, but obviously look at the quarterback that's going to be in division next year, and you've got someone like Onyemata who is so good at run defense. Are you going to really need your other safety being that good at run defense or pass? And the experience Malcolm Jenkins brings back. I wasn't too sure about it at the start, but now the more I think about it, the more I kind of agree with the move.
Yeah, I think in the win now mentality, while you basically have a 1, possibly 2-year window, if you can bring in some veteran leadership, someone that's won a Super Bowl with the Saints and with Philadelphia, that he can bring in that leadership, maybe kind of groom Gardner Johnson. We were kind of talking about that earlier as well, so it can maybe kind of bring him along. And so I definitely think it was a good signing. Von Bell, I mean, I would assume they're not going to sign him. He's still under first. He's
Maybe
not
that's
signed
what the
anybody else yet.
restructures are, to hold on to Bell too. I mean, it'd be great to have Bell and Jenkins.
It'd be nice. I really think they need to go after a wide receiver, either Robbie Anderson or Emmanuel Sanders.
Also, you've got to think as well, where was Gardner Johnson playing towards the end of the year? He was kind of playing that slot corner role, wasn't he? We've restructured Patrick Robinson, but is PJ? PJ's not on the team at the moment either, is he? So maybe they might be bringing Von Bell back alongside Malcolm Jenkins and then having P-Rob and Gardner Johnson as the slot corners.
And Jenkins can line up anywhere.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he can play
he
deep
might-
safety. He can play box
He's
safety.
he's
slot
what
corner.
you would call the Taysom Hill of the defense.
So maybe not close the door on Von Bell yet.
No, I think he's gone.
I'm
70
with
to
Ben,
80%
though.
chance.
I'm with Ben in his Chinese jersey that came with a free bat. I think, honestly, if they can find the money, and Mickey Loomis, if anybody can structure a deal to keep Bell, I think he could do something. And to your point about a receiver, Scott, if you let Bell go, use your money on a receiver. Do you really think what receivers are in the free agency that you would be willing to pay for?
I just named 2 of them.
I wasn't listening.
Robbie Anderson, Emmanuel Sanders.
Okay. Aside from those 2, so once they're gone, how do you feel about? I mean, don't the Saints have?
Once they're gone, then
enough
maybe
to
you look
bring
at
in a
Bell.
draft pick?
Is there any wide receivers less than Houston that we can offer a ridiculous trade for and get?
Penny
I don't think
Stills.
so. Oh God, no. Yeah,
Kenny
we're good.
Stills is no better than what we have.
Which is no one other than
He's
Michael
better-
Thomas.
He's better than Ted Ginn, right?
Well, Ted Ginn's not. No, he's gone now, isn't he?
It
Because he's a
depends.
free agent.
Ted Ginn's gone,
You're
yeah.
right, yeah.
So we've literally got Michael Thomas, Traquan.
Yeah,
Deontay
Traquan,
Harris.
I would take Traquan over Kenny Stills today.
Yeah, Deontay Harris. That's it, really. Because Keith Kirkwood's...
Lil Jordan Humphrey.
Oh, God.
Don't forget Little Jordan.
Is Rick Leonard a free agent?
There
Before
are
Taysom.
receivers in the draft every year. You bring them in.
I think not having a second round pick is going to hurt us this year as far as that
Yeah.
goes. Because I mean,
could have got
so
a receiver from.
yeah, you could have gotten a receiver from there. It depends on maybe they draft a receiver in the first round, but again, first year rookie receivers traditionally don't put up the numbers.
What about Justin Jefferson?
I mean, I take them. I mean, I'm not going to say I wouldn't take them, but they have to adjust. It's harder for receivers to adjust to the speed of the game.
The thing is now you can look at 3 positions where you look at that first round pick and you can go, yes, wide receiver, yes, linebacker, yes, potentially corner. Wouldn't you say? Jeff, you don't look too happy at that.
Well, my pen scared me. The light.
Jesus.
No, well, see,
It's like a cat.
Ben, your question is all right. Let me just read Les Henderson's comment from Facebook.
Yeah,
Tune in a little late. So he does want to know: what do we think we're going to do to replace AJ Klein? Is Kiko Alonso going to be healthy enough? Is he enough? So you just talked about linebackers. What do you do?
I could see a first rounder.
We had a weak spot at linebacker before we lost Klein. We might have gotten
Anzalone. You can't rely on Anzalone's health. You can't rely on Alonso's health.
I look at
Greg Robertson
plan as though Anzalone is not on your team, and then every now and then he's the guy who like shows up every now and then, and is like, "Hey guys, I'll play today." Oh, great, good to have you.
So I honestly think they're gonna do what they've done in years past: first round, best player available at the wherever they're at, whoever the best player available, regardless of position, is probably going to be the pick.
Even if
they have a lot of needs, so they have wide receiver, cornerback, linebacker, quarterback, maybe. I think whatever is open in the best position, the best player at those positions, they'll go somewhere in there.
And we discussed this on the podcast the other day. We're not going to see many players because a lot of pro days aren't going ahead because someone ate a bat.
Yeah, I mean, pro days kind of remind me of kind of like the combine. I mean, you got to really look at the game film of how they played in college to kind of get a better grasp of what they're doing. Pro days are basically glorified combines.
Yep. All right, Jason, welcome to the show. For those of you who just noticed, we got a new orange shirt down at the bottom of the screen. Welcome to the show, Jason. What's your number?
He's a Bucks fan now.
You didn't know?
Well, yeah. Tom Brady goes to Tampa Bay, and Jason becomes a fan.
And Jeff's repping the Panthers, so we got the whole NFC South covered.
Well, James is repping the Falcons with the red.
No, he's got a Pelican shirt on. It's got a Pelicans look.
All right.
Don't put that on James.
Well, I mean, with no XFL to talk about, with no NBA to talk about, with no EPL, we may as well turn into an NFC South podcast, into a Saints podcast, right? So we're covered. I got my creamsicle color on.
That's right, with a little touch of LSU over there at the top.
Tampa Bay Super Bowl favorites.
He's been sucking off Brady on the chat, so you might as well.
Right, because if you listen to the show over the last 5 years, all I've done is suck off Tom Brady.
I know you do. I know you do. That's your guy.
Like a hamster.
But I just
exactly.
I just got to have a meeting at work, so I just wanted to hop on because otherwise I was going to completely miss the show. So I figured I'd hop on for a few minutes.
All right, Jason. Well, then you pick up the question is, all right, with AJ Klein gone, what is the Saints' options to strengthen their linebacker core? Spencer did say Leonard Floyd is a free agent.
Is he
from Chicago?
I mean,
I think he just signed with somebody.
I don't know if there are any linebackers worth chasing now. I mean, I think it's got to be the draft.
But we did say a couple of years ago, we went and got Mario Davis and didn't chase him, and look what he's turned out to be. So if there's the right fit there, I think we'll see the Saints.
Yeah, and I know I brought up earlier, like I don't know everybody who is a free agent, and so I don't know exactly who's out there, but now it just screams, especially with linebacker and receiver. It just screams draft. And it really sucks that we don't have a second round pick, but that's what we do.
I believe
some wise person just said that a few minutes
free
ago.
Agent. Sean Lee from the Cowboys is a free agent, I think.
No, I thought he's coming back. Sean Lee, I thought he's coming back to him. But he's only going to play 6 games a year.
Well,
Yeah, he gets.
Well, that's all right. Anzalone can fill in for the other 6.
Shit, that case we're gonna need a third. Anzalone's got 4 games. Sean Lee's got 6.
Kiko
We still need another
Alonso.
6 games.
Yeah, job share our linebackers.
So, Jason, where do you think we go first round? Wide receiver, linebacker?
I mean, I don't. What free agent? I guess it depends. If we go and we sign, like, say, a Robbie Anderson or a Emmanuel Sanders, then I would say, you guys have probably already said it. already. I mean, I'm just hopping on, but if they do that, then it has to be linebacker. Otherwise, it's probably going to be receiver, and we hope to get a linebacker in round 3. I mean, but
I was
those are
thinking
So the linebackers then are what? You got Patrick Queen from LSU. You've got the guy from is it Oklahoma. Kenneth
Queen's not going to
Murray?
be there. Queen's not going to be there, I don't think.
You don't think so? Kenneth Murray. I think he's a linebacker that might be going in the first round. That's about it for linebackers that I've seen in the mock drafts.
then to me, I guess they probably go receiver because that seems to be a sure thing early.
Dice
And
on
then,
Anzalone.
well, and then you roll a dice on trying to find a linebacker in round 3 or 4.
I've just
Yeah.
got an image of the 2 slowest people in the NFL, Tom Brady and Craig Robertson, chasing after each other.
On Monday night.
But Shy Tuttle picked up that fumble and stiff arms Brady.
Yeah, that would be nice.
All right.
He'd break Brady.
All right, so that we talked about Jenkins coming back.
Malcolm Jenkins.
Bring that back. That's nice. I like it.
Mhm.
All right, so then let's talk and we talk about Alonzo P. Rob restructuring. Chris Harris is out of the question. Jamie Collins is out. You might have just said that. So then the other one is we lost Teddy B to Carolina. Somebody said it a couple of times in reference to my blue shirt. How does this make you feel that he chose Carolina?
You
James?
Blue.
I think am I allowed to swear on the live stream? I think
Absolutely.
It's
I
not
think-
made for kids, but kids can watch.
I think my response in the group chat was fuck him.
Oh,
Ah, you-
so you're
fuck
on
you.
that. You're on that
Fuck
side,
you.
which is you're not a Saint, so screw you. Or like if he'd have gone to an AFC team, you'd be like, yeah, wish you luck.
Yeah, but not another NFC South team. No, gone, dead to me, gone.
Nah,
He was never that good
To be
anyway.
honest,
fuck you.
So
You.
so Ben, you're on the other side of the equation, which is
100%.
I support him 14 times out of the year.
Honestly, yeah, he's gone to the Panthers. Yeah, it's shit. But end of the day, does he owe us anything? When
He doesn't owe
When
us
he's-
anything. Do we?
Exactly.
Do we owe him anything?
Nope.
he got us into the playoffs.
Did he?
I
Our
think that
defense
was
played their asses off.
I think he got us into the playoffs as much as Aaron Brooks single-handedly won our first playoff game ever.
The guy threw multiple touchdowns, Jeff. Come on.
So did
I'm talking about it. I'm talking about my
I
boy.
generally. Everyone's
So-
acting rash now because he's
so-
going to the Panthers. But you can understand why he's going to the Panthers.
He's
Seriously,
getting paid. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's
Ben,
getting paid, but also Joe Brady's there.
Ben, Cowboys game. What was the score in the Cowboys game? We didn't score a touchdown. 12-10? Was it 12-10 against the Cowboys
Did he beat Seattle?
this season?
Was it his fault we beat Seattle?
We had a
Don't think-
defensive touchdown and a punt return touchdown in that game
Mhm.
Yeah.
in Seattle.
When
I
we
think-
played
I think-
Jacksonville, it was 15-12.
I think it's classic
Something like that.
revisionist history. You look at the W and you give credit to the quarterback, but I remember several of our podcast episodes during those weeks where we had to convince ourselves that he was improving. I remember Scott complaining every week about how long he held the ball and because he couldn't make a decision. There was a lot of critique, and we all wanted to be like, well, they're winning, so to ignore all the negatives. Ignore all the negatives.
he-
because they're
he-
winning.
Am I worried that Teddy Bridgewater's gone to Carolina and it could affect
I'm
us?
not
big time?
worried.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried. But I'm just saying, people disrespect him, saying like he's dead to me now. It's bollocks.
I mean, I'm not rooting for the guy to succeed, but I'm also not. I'm not gonna like attack him verbally like we do or did Cam Newton. You know, like Cam Newton, we would ridicule and we would make fun like a Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, put him in. I'm not gonna do that with Teddy. I'll respect him enough to say like I'm not gonna like wish ill on you. I will point out your faults, and I will not be afraid of you when the Saints play. I think you are an upgrade to Cam Newton, so I think there's a level of respect that the team has to have for him.
I'm amazed the Patriots didn't go in for him.
I really thought that's where he was going to end up. Unless they're putting all their eggs in. I know some people are mentioning the Patriots possibly going after Taysom. I'm like,
They
I've
won't
seen
be
that,
now.
I think the Patriots are tanking for Trevor Lawrence.
I do as well. Oh, God, God, they're going to play that. Who's their backup at the moment?
Jarrett Stidham.
Jarrett Stidham,
Yeah.
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 If they really want to tank, they can go and trade for Cam Newton.
I
problem
think they
problem
might
with-
sign. They might sign. They might try and trade for Jacoby Brissett. Now the Colts have got Rivers.
The problem with tanking is that they're in the AFC East. It's hard to tank in the AFC East. Look at
Very
the
good
Dolphins.
point.
They tried to
Really
tank and they won
tank.
5 games.
They could sign Jameis Winston.
Spencer says 29% of Teddy's completions were to running backs. Led the league in that ratio, so he's perfect for McCaffrey, but he's not enough for me to truly be worried about him. I agree, Spencer. I think you're right.
Yeah, I agree. But fuck him.
All right, Kip Kippers says,
Fuck you,
don't
fuck you,
forget,
James.
Kip Kippers says don't forget that Eli Apple is gone. So is his mom, and they can go to Vegas together, and she can bitch about
on the
all
boat.
strippers on
Which
the
is shut down
She-
now.
She can go to Vegas on the boat that she tweeted about.
yeah. Let her good riddance to her. Well, actually, to him more than her, I guess, but her too.
He did okay for us, didn't he?
He
In
did
the
it. He did for a
year and
while,
half.
and then for whatever reason, he just stopped. And that's what
Yeah.
Here we go.
didn't the
He
Giants
stopped.
fans
He
say that?
stopped after the game in Chicago when he got that knee injury.
Mm.
I think he got
That's
in
when it
his, I
stopped.
think he got in his own head too.
Ah. Ah.
Somebody's having sex in that room.
Matt.
Your name, your friends over there, Scott.
No, all right. So Eli, though, the Giants fans, I think, warned all the Saints fans of that when we got him. They were like, good. They were saying good riddance too when we got him.
Not good riddance. A good riddance of his mum, yes.
No, the
What?
Giants fans were. I mean, he properly fell out with the Giants, didn't he? He was
Yeah.
a locker room cancer, and the fans
Yeah.
hated him.
I
Didn't
never
he
got
try
that
to
opinion
fight
here.
Fans at some point. There was
I don't.
something-
Yeah, I don't think he was a cancer here. I think his mom.
No, his mom. Yeah.
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 Look,
Man,
Janoris-
Annie Apple.
Lonzo. Imagine if Lonzo Ball's dad and Annie Apple had the child together.
Oh God.
Imagine.
She'd
don't
be
want
Kris
to.
Jenner.
Then you get Jameis Winston.
Oh.
All
right,
right,
so-
Janoris Jenkins is an upgrade on Eli Apple for us this season,
Yeah.
I think.
This season.
Are we going to restructure his deal, or do you think we're just going to pay him that money?
I don't think 11.5 million is that bad for a
Bad?
starting
What's-
cornerback.
I suppose when Chris Harris is going for 10 million a year.
Yeah, if we do, we do. If we don't, I think we're okay. I'm okay paying him
I guess
11.5
we
million.
Do we lose Jason again?
Looks
Yeah,
like
looks
it, yeah.
like it. Yeah, that'll be the National Guard turning his internet off in the city.
All right. That's all the Saints stuff moves that I've got on my notebook here. But do you guys have any other random NFL moves that you think are warrant?
What are the Texans doing? What are they doing with their organization?
I think they're going full Cleveland.
Maybe
Like-
they're tanking for the guy from Clemson.
Yeah,
Well, they got Deshaun Watson.
you never want to go full Cleveland.
Apparently, don't care.
No.
Have
If
you
they asked
seen?
Deshaun Watson, I'll be getting out of that place as quick as I could.
Have you seen what the story was that came out about the Texans today?
Oh yeah, Bill O'Brien compared Hopkins to Hernandez.
Yeah, Bill
Ado
O'Brien
Hernandez.
compared DeAndre Hopkins to Aaron Hernandez in a meeting with him.
Allegedly.
Oh, well, yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah, very, very strange. I mean,
he's a-
the Cardinals have got themselves an absolute steal there, haven't they, with that trade?
Definitely.
So they got wide receiver core of Hopkins, Fitzgerald, and Christian Kirk.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
here's
apart from Michael Thomas, I'd say Hopkins is the best wide receiver in the NFL. My
Do
opinion.
you think Houston knows something then that we don't
failed drug test coming out. So.
about him,
No,
Maybe.
I doubt it.
or you think
Maybe.
they just make poor decisions?
I think they just made a poor decision.
Yeah.
Or they just couldn't get along with them, one or the other. I mean, it could be just chemistry. Like, I don't know.
But
could-
Bill
I don't know.
O'Brien falls out with loads of people. He fell out with Clowney, didn't he? Tyrann Matthew was only there for a year and fell out with him.
Yeah,
So
I don't know.
I
Is
think
he
Bill
still the
O'Brien's a prick.
GM as well as the head
He's-
coach?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not working, is it?
No, definitely not.
God, could you imagine if Sean Payton was the GM and the head coach? Jesus.
It's only worked for Belichick, really, hasn't it? Those co-roles don't really work. Like Jerry Jones being a GM and an owner is just a weird one as well, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
So I guess we have to talk about the Brady signing too.
Yeah. So,
Brady's gone somewhere.
are you concerned? I mean, really, are you concerned about
No.
Tampa Bay, or do
No.
you think this is going to be a Favre Jets type of exit that he's going to have? Not Favre Vikings, Favre Jets.
He
Well,
really
if
wasn't.
it's a Favre, sorry, James, but if it's a Favre Vikings,
Shut the hell up, James, and let him talk.
if it's a Favre Vikings exit, it means we go to the Super Bowl. So
I said Favre Jets, though.
he's also Vikings at the end.
Yeah.
If it's a Favre
Oh, I know.
Vikings,
I don't.
Yeah.
Well, and how'd that turn out?
yeah, exactly. It's because let's do that again.
So you want that ending? Actually, that ending results in the Saints winning a Super Bowl. So yeah.
That's what I'm getting to. That's what I'm
Oh,
getting
okay. That's true. Okay.
Slowly.
to. James, back to you.
Yeah, Tom Brady.
Sorry, one more
wasn't-
thing. I'm joking.
Oh dear. Tom Brady wasn't very good last year for the Patriots.
No, he wasn't.
Statistically,
He didn't
was
have a
one of the-
lot
Yeah.
to work with.
But statistically,
They were also
like,
for
he
20
one
years.
of-
You think every single one of those years he had a lot to work with?
No, he didn't. It could be the age catching
Sorry.
up with him.
We keep
It just seemed like
interrupting
it just seems like he had less to work with last year than normal.
Well, he lost
Mm.
Gronk, didn't he? That was the big thing. I mean, he's going to have weapons at Tampa Bay: Godwin, Evans, OJ
Howard.
Howard. But I think he's done. And what is it? They reckon they're paying him $30 million a year. I think that's a big mistake.
I love it.
Where are teams getting all this money from?
So Ash did say the age-old question of Brady will be answered. Is he a system quarterback and not the greatest of all time?
Well, he's
I
not
mean-
the greatest of all time.
I think
That's-
he's the most decorated quarterback of all time. I don't know. I think I agree. In like Ali Gibbs says too, right? Ash, he'll be found out this year. I think what's going to happen is this is going to be one of those years where he comes off as that guy who doesn't know when to stop. And I don't think I think if he like Breeze is staying with the Saints, and that's why Breeze is going to continue to do well. I think Brady's problem was not staying with the Patriots, whether it was his decision or not, whatever. But I think if he stayed with the Patriots, he has a better year than he's going to have with Tampa Bay. He's going to a brand new system after 20 years in the same system, same coach. He owned that building. He owned that locker room. He commanded it. Granted, he's going to have command respect in Tampa, but it's a completely different culture. And his first thing is that he's going to have to focus on is changing the culture in Tampa. And if anybody knows about cultures in Tampa, it's who was that lineman that got Mercer? Had a bad culture. Remember the former Saint Nick
Carl Nix.
Carl Nix. Yeah, Carl Nix knows about. Damn, that was a long build up to a good joke, and I messed it up because I forgot. And if anyone knows about culture samples in Tampa, it's Carl Nix.
There you go. Ba-doom.
Who got there?
And Arians is a lot different than Belichick. Like Arians will, Belichick's very just kind of straightforward, kind of.
Arians is a
Arians is loud. Like he's not like that at all.
Ray wearing, some jazz singing, smooth talking, glasses, dark rimmed guy who's he's been cool with everybody, man.
I mean, he's a good coach, but I mean, he's been out of it for a couple of years too, right?
So opening Monday night,
1 or 2 years.
Still, I mean,
and then
you don't do your craft for a couple of years.
Yeah, that's true. And look at Tampa's performance this year. I mean, you could blame it on Jameis Winston, but coaching has a lot to do with everybody else's performance.
Yeah.
So
We'll
Monday
see how it
night
goes.
football, first game of the season, Buccaneers, Saints and Buccaneers.
If we have a season, you mean?
We're gonna have a season. Yeah, China's coming out of this. Everything will be back to normal by June, July.
One of the Saints Bucks games will be in prime time, guaranteed.
I'm
They're
sure.
They're not gonna not have Breeze versus Brady in prime time, are they?
It's gonna be
you're right.
really weird to see him in a Bucks jersey.
Yeah.
Antonio
It's just
Mata's
gonna-
going to get a sack. Cam Jordan's going to get a sack. Everybody's going to get a piece of him. Tomorrow, Davis
Cam
will pick
Jo-
up a
Cam-
sack.
Cam Jordan was talking about it, wasn't he, on Twitter?
But you gotta watch how you sack him too, because the refs are very
Protective.
finicky with him.
True.
Like they're very protective of him.
That's
So
true.
I could
mean-
see roughing the passer penalties going up.
You know, looking at what the NFC South has done so far this offseason, the Falcons are basically getting rid of everybody. Well, they've got rid of Trufant and Freeman, haven't they, so far?
Yeah.
Yeah. They
Austin
signed
Hooper
somebody
as well.
today.
Yeah.
They
The
signed,
Panthers,
a
they
linebacker.
signed Dante Fowler, yeah.
Fowler, yeah.
The Panthers, Luke Kuechly's gone, Cam Newton's going.
Greg Olson gone.
Yeah. Have Tampa just basically jumped from 4th to 2nd in the NFC South?
It's quite possible. It's quite possible. I mean, the NFC South is going to be the most competitive division in the league.
I think so. And it really, if you look at it, it has been the last few
Yeah.
years. I mean, other than the last couple of years, every year they've had a different NFC South champion. And we had one year where we had three teams in the same division in the playoffs. You know,
Right. As if the mountain for the Saints to climb hasn't been steep enough the last 3 years. Now we've got Brady and Bridgewater to contend with.
Yep.
Which I'm not,
Yeah.
like we said earlier. All right, final thoughts, James.
Yeah, I just want the Saints to do something, sign somebody from outside of the building, get something done, something to all we've done is re-sign people so far. So
I mean, we
Something
were
done.
good enough to win the Super Bowl every year. Why do you need more players? You were screwed by the refs more than anything.
last year
Yeah.
though, first round knocked out.
Yeah.
I mean, we have holes that we need
Yeah.
to fill.
Right, that is true. But you do want to, to me, you want to keep everybody.
Keep who you can, yeah, but if you're losing people, we need to fill the holes.
we do.
All right.
Do.
So final thoughts, Scott.
Oh, all right. I thought you were going to Ben next.
All right, Ben.
Fill the-
final thoughts. Ben, fill Scott's hole.
As we move on time, we did get a chance to talk about the Colts. I thought of signing Philip Rivers from the Chargers, good move, and they also got one of the linemen from the 49ers. So they're just a sneaky team to watch out for in the AFC.
Nah.
Especially
Yeah.
with the Patriots kind of looking to probably be on
Yeah.
the slide.
So, but apart from that, no, everyone just kind of
Kansas City repeats the AFC Championship.
Yep. They do.
just keep washing your hands. Don't eat bats.
All right, Scott. Final thoughts.
Fill
Follow
holes.
that.
Fill your holes. Saints, fill your holes. Yeah, just stay safe out there, everybody, and don't buy into too much of the hype, and
Oh,
don't go crazy. Stay inside. Keep your hands washed, clean. You can touch yourself after you lick yourself, Jeff. But don't touch others after you lick yourself.
unless you're washing hands.
I
Wash your
heard something from the World Health Organization saying that people should not be rimming.
And that's all the show we have for you right now. We're going to thank our loyal listeners for downloading each week and telling all of your friends about the Dome Patrol podcast. Follow us on Twitter for daily conversation at Dome Patrol UK and Dome Patrol US. Like us on Facebook to watch these live broadcasts. Watch us on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube to watch these live broadcasts. And you can also listen as an alternative to your podcast app. And of course, if you don't want to listen to us on iTunes, name them, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher,
Podbean.
and TuneIn. You can listen the old-fashioned way, Dome Patrol Podcast.
.com.
Say bye-bye, donkeys.
Bye-bye, Annie-Apple donkeys. Good night, Who Dat Nation.
No rimming.
There's no need for that.